Arkansas, an outdoor paradise. People travel hundreds of miles to enjoy what, well, some of us take for granted. We aren't called the natural state without reason. With an abundance of rivers, lakes, and streams loaded with adventure. Scenic views that will take your breath away. Biking trails and back roads just begging to be discovered. Sit back and relax as Ray Tucker and longtime journalist Brian Hendricks explore our magnificent state with this week's edition of Ray Tucker's Arkansas Outdoors.
You know what? It doesn't matter what time of the year it is. If you bring up duck hunting, everybody wants to jump in on it.
Everybody wants to jump in on it. And to talk about duck hunting, we have one of the foremost experts in the world.
I don't know about that.
Wait a minute.
Hold it.
No, none of the self-deprecating stuff. We got George Dunklin here of Humphrey, Stuttgart, or DeWitt, depending on which day it is.
Well, the mailing address is Humphrey.
All right.
So,
and
but
George,
halfway between Stuttgart and DeWitt.
George served a term on the Arkansas Game and Fish Commission early in my career. He was also a two-time president of Ducks Unlimited and a two-time chairman of the board of directors of Ducks Unlimited. And not just that, he is the owner of the famous Five Oaks Lodge down in the Stuttgart area. And quickly tell us about it's more than duck hunting. You've got a university down there of sorts.
Well,
Pull that microphone up to you, George, please.
Sure, absolutely.
Right.
About 5 years ago, I decided to start a nonprofit, a 501c3 nonprofit organization, and we incorporated Five Oaks into that. And I'm a volunteer, like I was at Game and Fish and Ducks Unlimited, but we have an agreement with the University of Arkansas at Monticello in the Division of Ag, and we're doing bottomland hardwood research and GPS birds. We have a program where a graduate certificate program where students come and live with us. We have programs all during the summer for summer camps for children. We have a fourth grade program where schools bring their fourth grade classes during the year for a field day. So we're getting them in the outdoors. We're teaching about conservation, and we're just having a great time, Brian. And it is a lot of fun.
Very important work that you're doing, educating a new generation of people in conservation, wetland, bottomland, hardwood forest management, which is really, up until probably the last 10 years, has been kind of a mysterious thing. And I think that there's a lot of new information on there, and they're, thanks to people like you, better prepared to study that.
Well, one of our goals is outreach. It's education, not just to students, but to the public. And so we have landowner workshops. We work very closely with Dr. Doug Osborne and his program at UAM. He runs a fabulous program. Of course, the new Snowden Waterfowl Center is now, thanks to a good neighbor, David Snowden, and his family, what they've done. So UAM is quickly become one of the leading places in the country for waterfowl research.
So
we're proud to be part of it.
How many students are involved in this?
Well, we have 4 students that live with us through the program, and they end up earning, it's part of their master's graduate program. These are post-college undergraduate students. And we've got them working now for Ducks Unlimited, Game and Fish, private landowners. We've got them dispersed all over the country and teaching them about that. Dr. Doug Osborne teaches the academic side, and we teach the applied side. So they learn how to drive a tractor. They learn how to brush a duck blind. They learn how to make a bed in a duck lodge. I mean, they learn every aspect. So when they get out, we want them to have that ability to get a good job someplace and be able to kind of spread the gospel, if you will, of how to properly manage some of these green tree reservoirs and other things. There's so many myths and opinions. And so this is a science-driven program.
So conservation, awareness, none of that means anything if you don't have ducks. And we've got a situation that's come up, I guess a rule change with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service regarding long-time conservation easements that has the potential to really do great harm.
Yeah. Well, it's a potential rule change, right? First of all. It's a rule that was placed in 2024 under the Biden administration by Director Martha Williams then, when she was director of U.S. Fish and Wildlife. Before that, it followed basically 60 years of policy. And so today's U.S. Fish and Wildlife, and under the Department of Interior, has asked for requests for information. And so they simply said, give us some information. Well, fortunately, duck hunters responded in masses. I think over 200,000 responses have come back. In industry, it really is amazing the response that we got back for information.
You know, one of the things that's been a constant trope over the years, especially among, I don't want to get political and don't intend to, but, you know, within the GOP, you've got the Western congressional delegation versus the Southern and their objectives and their philosophies really clash in a lot of ways, and that seems to be kind of what's driving this potential rule change. That
and North Dakota, I tell you what I think it really is, and we don't know exactly what cost the request for information for this rule change, but the easements that were purchased by our duck stamp dollars, where these easements were in perpetuity. I mean, that's a long time.
Yep.
And there are some people that have, political people, have had a problem with perpetual easements. But that's what they were purchased. That was a covenant that duck hunters, when we bought that duck stamp, they were going to buy that, and we knew those easements, and that's what allows us to get through these really dry years when the snow and the rain, the moisture comes back. These potholes, these wetlands can explode in our ducks, and that's why we have these cycles. Well, if they're successful, and it's a little confusing because it's about the setback rule for where these drainage tiles, and drainage tiles, think of a French drain. They've crossed the Midwest, and they're able to drain land to plant more corn or soybeans or whatever it is. And we're not against that. I mean, I'm a farmer. I mean, I've been in agriculture. I'm a third generation rice farmer in Arkansas County, and we're all about farmers, and Ducks Unlimited is all about working with agriculture and have been for a long time. This is about where those drain tiles are set next to that easement. And that easement cannot burn. You can't burn it. You can't drain it. You can't fill it. You can't level it. And these easements, if allowed to get follow this rule they have, this other protocol they have for the Swamp Buster, will drain the rule. We'll drain it. So that's the scary part.
And so we got to get into a little bit of ecology here, that the water table comes up to a certain level, and that is what charges those ponds and puts water on the landscape, right?
Yeah, it's the snow, and when it melts,
right,
it goes into the potholes, which the glaciers created 10,000 years ago. And the best potholes, the most productive potholes, are the ones that are the most shallow. And so the easement will be able, the drain tile would be able, that water would migrate through it. The rule is based all on science evidence. This is not something somebody just throw up. And it also gives, the rule allows the landowner, if he or she mistakenly puts it too close, but they followed the rules, they have safe harbor, so they're protected.
And so, I wrote an article about it, but I forget the numbers now. But the way the rules are now, they're not allowed to drain a fair amount of inches.
12 inches is what right now under the Swamp Buster. Yeah. And right now it's 1 inch.
Right.
So I think it's 14 days that water that up to 12 inches. And so the rule is 1.2 inches right now, which if they change the rule to put the 12 inches, our scientists at Ducks Unlimited conservatively say 30% of the productive wetlands that we have now will be gone forever. And so the next time you have a drought, of course it's dry, and the farmer can farm right through the wetland during the drought. It's just when the water and the moisture comes back, the ducks won't come back this time because they will have been drained.
So who is leading the charge to make sure this doesn't happen?
Well, the industry has. Yeah.
All right, we're going to take a break here on Ray Tucker's Arkansas Outdoors. Ray tried to lead us into long territory here, but we are going to be right back, so just hang with us.
Every Everybody knows the Brad Hendricks Law Firm is famous for car wrecks, big truck crashes, and medical negligence cases. But they do a lot more than that. They help good people who can benefit from bankruptcy. And they also help older folks who had their Social Security claims denied. When you need a lawyer, call the firm that is pure Arkansas, where you won't ever be just a number. The Brad Hendricks Law Firm. Tradition, reputation, results.
The Saracen Casino Hotel is now open and accepting reservations. Saracen's new 14-story hotel features 318 modern guest rooms and suites, offering luxe accommodations paired with the elevated amenities and the Southern hospitality customers have come to expect from Saracen Casino Resort. And while you're at it, don't skip dinner at Red Oak, recognized as Arkansas's best restaurant for 5 years running. Book your stay with Saracen by visiting SaracenResort.com or calling Saracen today.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-MY-RESET.
This is Anthony Lucas, here to tell you about my favorite spot in Little Rock, Corky's. Sure, Corky's may look all ribs and barbecue on the outside, but did you know Corky's was also nominated for Central Arkansas's best catfish? And don't get me started on their chicken, shrimp, and nachos.
Those Big Joe burgers, Anthony.
Big Joe, when did you get here?
You really stealing my thunder, Anthony. Corky's is my place.
No way you love Corky's like me, Joe.
Talk to me when you have your own menu item, Lucas.
Corky's ribs and barbecue.
We're keeping Arkansas beautiful. Want to lend a hand? Don't be afraid to get them dirty. Every day, volunteers around the state are picking up litter, planting trees and wildflowers, recycling, and more. You know what these volunteers need most? Help. Volunteer today at KeepArkansasBeautiful.com. Learn more about all our programs. A message brought to you by the Keep Arkansas Beautiful Commission, this station, and the Arkansas Broadcasters Association.
Looking for burgers, barbecue, beer, bourbon, ball games, and brunch? Look no further than Ouachita Bar and Grill, 915 Central Avenue in beautiful downtown Hot Springs. Ouachita Bar and Grill, family and pet friendly, with indoor and outdoor seating available. Bingo Bango Brunch, served on Sundays from 11 till 3, with live music Thursday through Saturday. Take a look on Facebook to see what events they've got going on this week, and join the fun at Ouachita Bar and Grill, Central Avenue, downtown Hot Springs. Join the zone each Monday for game balls and jock straps, brought to you by A Caddy's Touch Landscaping. Find out who made the best, average, and worst headlines in sports and entertainment each Monday, as Justin and Phil give you their game balls and jock straps on the zone from 10 till 1. It's all brought to you by A Caddy's Touch Landscaping, 501-794-2770. Call today to get your landscape updated to a whole new level, and be listening for game balls and jock straps only on 103.7 The Buzz.
Attention. If you suffer from consistent pain in your joints caused by arthritis, overuse, or injury, you may be a candidate for a revolutionary therapy that could revitalize damaged tissue. This approach can provide long-lasting relief from pain in your knees, shoulders, hips, and other joints with no surgery, no drugs, and no downtime. To find out if you're a viable candidate, you may request a free consultation from QC Kinetics by calling 501-600-2763. Instead of masking the symptoms, it goes to the root of the problem to resolve it at its source. Already used by thousands of satisfied patients nationwide, this joint pain therapy is available right now to the public, but only for qualified candidates. Again, to find out if you're a viable candidate for this therapy, you may request a free consultation by calling QC Kinetics at 501-600-2763. That's 501-600-2763.
And we're back with Ray Tucker's Arkansas Outdoors. We're visiting with George Dunklin, owner of Five Oaks Lodge, former president of Ducks Unlimited, former Arkansas Game and Fish Commissioner. And we are talking about the latest. It seems like it's always something, George, but we're talking about the latest threat to ducks. And we were mentioning earlier that a possible rule change to a Fish and Wildlife Service rule, if enacted, could take away 30% of the most productive waterfowl nesting and brood rearing sites. But what you also have to figure into that is 30% of what we've already lost.
Absolutely. And it would never come back.
Never come back.
Yep. Well,
so I'd ask the question, who's spearheading the drive to make sure this doesn't happen?
Yeah. Well, industry, duck hunters themselves have responded overwhelmingly. We've had I understand, over a couple 100,000 comments. I know on the DU portal, it was over 115,000 people that actually signed a petition. Industry, politicians, our whole delegation in Arkansas has signed a letter in protest of this. Our governor has been very responsive as well. It's all the governors here in the South, the legislators here in the South have all signed onto a letter. So it's for something that was only 14 days of comment, and we had no idea it was even coming.
Mm-hmm. And that's another question I've got. I hate to interrupt, but that seems underhanded to me.
I have no idea. I've never heard of a 14-day comment period. Let's back up a little bit. Some of the concerns that farmers had, and rightfully so in North Dakota, was prior to 1976, some of the easements that had been drawn up, they felt like were wrong. They're easements their grandfathers sold, and that we didn't have the survey equipment, the GPS, and those kind of things. So Ducks Unlimited, along with Fish and Wildlife Service, at the request of U.S. Department of Interior, asked us to develop a pilot program and start working with each individual landowner, go on the field, make sure the easement's correct. If it's not, they get their land back. We were in the process of doing that when this request for information change came out. We had 1 day's notice. In fact, I actually told Congressman Westerman about it. Now, Congressman Westerman is the chairman of the Natural Resources Committee.
And he didn't know about it?
His staff didn't know about it. So, but it's going to be interesting to see what happens. I know they're dissecting all the letters. I mean, I wrote a personal letter along with an editorial I had in the paper today to see as they dissect and see. I don't know how many were in favor of getting but I would imagine is a very, very small. I'd be shocked if it was more than 10% of the comments. I do not know that.
Well, the thing that strikes me about this is that landowners sold those easements, and they had the best intentions in mind when they did so, right?
With all a willing landowner.
A willing landowner, yep. And they sold willingly. They collected public money for that, and so the easement is
duck stamp dollars.
That's right, and probably is it duck stamp dollars and also federal aid and wildlife restoration dollars too?
Probably not. Well, it probably is some federal aid, Pittman Robertson dollars, which is an excise tax that every hunter pays.
So that lien is on the deed of that property. It's recorded at the county or at the courthouse or wherever it is. It's part there. Any title search is going to bring that up. Yep. So somebody buys this land not knowing that, or they just decide somewhere along the game that I don't like that. I want to change that.
Well, in this case, corn, and again, nothing wrong with growing corn,
right?
But it has come into that area where before, because we're talking about North Dakota before the genetics wouldn't allow it. Now corn has gotten in that area and soybeans, and they're able to grow that. They just want to grow it everywhere. We're fine on those dry years, you can, but.
Right.
We not on the lands that have been protected. It's about 1,007 acres we're talking about. So I don't know how many. It's a lot of pallet holes we're talking about. Have been protected, and as you said, Brian, they were purchased. The willing seller knew when they sold this what they were doing, and probably for the reasons they wanted to protect, whatever the reason was.
Sure,
that was part of the deal.
And so, you come down, say 40, 50, 60 years later. The property has changed hands. Who knows how many times? And I'm kind of getting the sense that it's economic driven as far as the corn crop, right?
I would think economics have some impact for this decision.
And meanwhile, I mean, we were talking about it before the show. If you drive down around where you live, DeWitt, down in there, you're seeing corn where you used to see soybeans and rice, and if rice is the driver that we associate with ducks here.
Yeah, and we're losing rice acres too.
Yes,
that's the scary part.
Yeah,
they haven't come out. USDA has not announced our rice acres, but we're talking about maybe under 800,000 this year, where we've been up to 1,400,000, 1,500,000, 1,600,000.
So is that just corn's more profitable to switch to, or is fertilizer prices and diesel and all that?
Unfortunately for the farmer, it's which one you're going to lose the less amount of money.
Okay.
And so soybeans, it's a much cheaper, less expensive crop. The odds are you will lose less amount of money than you would on rice. It's just it's the nature, unfortunately, of agriculture right now.
So, what the long and the short of it is, ducks are under a lot of pressure. I think we have killed 70% fewer mallards, I think, last year or the year before than we did in the heyday of 1999. 70% reduction in
1999 was the perfect storm.
Yeah.
Yep.
But that's the golden standard that everybody goes by. But there's been that reduction. There's just a lot of pressure, and we're going to talk about it a little bit more when we come back to Ray Tucker's Arkansas Outdoors.
Just when you thought it was safe to go back in the water, it's Shark Month 2 at Gwatney Buick GMC. Shark Month promises the biggest deals of the year and ready to take a bite out of your payment. New Invistas starting at under $24,000. Sink your teeth into Sierra 1500s, up to $15,000 off MSRP. Sharks can smell a deal for miles around, like all new Buicks on the lot at 0.9. Are you underwater? Let's trade. Canyons at just $249 per month and Sierras at 0%. It's Shark Month 2. And you're going to need a bigger truck. Call Gwatney Buick GMC at 501-945-4444. Gwatney Buick GMC, 5700 Landers Road in North Little Rock. GwatneyBuickGMC.com. GMC, we are professional grade. Stock numbers 32616, 32661. Some offers require qualifying trade-in. Canyon is a low mileage lease. All offers with approved credit.
This is the Pigskin Preacher, bringing you the word. Arkansans recently bade farewell to legendary Razorback Bill Burnett. His ability to get the football in the end zone was only matched by the difference he made in countless lives. Burnett's leadership in the fellowship of Christian athletes was a natural outgrowth of his faith in the Lord, and he was never shy about sharing his faith with others. Arkansas is a better place because of Bill Burnett. May God bless his family and make his memory a blessing for generations. If you want to be part of a winning team, put your application in at doublebees.com, and you can work for a successful Arkansas company serving Arkansans. We would love to have you on the Double Bees team. Double Bees, it's where you gas it, grab it, and go. That's Double Bees.
Instant fun every day? That's a win. The chance at a life-changing jackpot? Win. Creating scholarships for Arkansas students? That's the biggest win of all. When you play the lottery, it's a win-win-win for Arkansas. So far, the Arkansas Scholarship Lottery has raised over $1.5 billion to fund more than 822,000 scholarships. Keep playing and winning Arkansas. Call 1-800-522-4700 for Problem Gambling Helpline.
Around here, reputation matters. That's why homeowners and business owners turn to the professionals at CertaPro Painters for their painting projects. From detailed residential painting to professionally managed commercial projects, our crews deliver craftsmanship that protects your investment and enhances curb appeal. If painting's on your list this year, now's the time. Spots are filling up fast. Call CertaPro Painters or visit CertaPro.com and reserve your project today. That's Certa with a C. CertaPro Painters, that's painting happy.
The Arkansas Department of Transportation reminds you there is zero tolerance for handheld devices in highway construction zones, which are hands-free by law. And always slow down when you see orange barrels. Help us keep road workers and drivers safe. We all want to get home at the end of the day. Just remember, slow down, phone down. It only takes a second to change your life or someone else's. This message from the Arkansas Department of Transportation, the Arkansas Broadcasters Association, and this station.
Arkansas brides, make your wedding show experience unforgettable with a VIP ticket. Join us Sunday, August 23rd at the State House Convention Center for the Arkansas Democrat Gazette Wedding Show. VIP guests receive an exclusive bride t-shirt, tote bag, custom labels, special swag, reserved seating, and early access to the show. These limited VIP tickets are available now at ArkansasBridalCommunity.com. Start planning your dream day with Arkansas wedding experts all in one place.
back to Ray Tucker's Arkansas Outdoors. Time to talk to Neil Atkinson, Saracen Casino Resort down in Pimela. How are you this evening, Neil?
Good. Just keeping an eye on a couple of baseball games in progress right now that just started in the last couple of hours, and got a few more that we're starting. Watching the full contact WNBA also. Got a game in progress and another one later on tonight. Sorry, I can't resist. If they're going to put themselves in the papers like that for this, we're going to clown on them a little bit.
I'm with you.
But the big thing that we got going on right now is the football lines are all out for week 1 and week 0, if you want to call it that. And we have all of the Arkansas teams except UCA up because they're playing Tennessee. I think they're playing Tennessee Martin or Tennessee Tech, one of the Tennessee ones. And that will probably come up a little bit closer to the game. But if you want to check those out, and we have our season-long double R props on the page, too, for Arkansas football. Of course, they're coming off of a tough year last year. Not predicted to do well in the SEC this year. Let's make a liar out of the media people that ranked them last.
Oh, that's not hard to do.
Well, let's make a liar out of them and that ranked them last. Maybe they'll do better this year. I'm hoping they are. And but we'll see when the product's on the field. We got the first 3 game lines up, and of course covering Arkansas State and UAPB. UAPB's playing Missouri SEC matchup first game. They are a heavy dog in that one of 52.5 points. But Arkansas is a big favorite in their first one against North Alabama, -40. And, of course, Arkansas State in Memphis. That's a nice game, big game. Memphis is a 10-point favorite with their new coach. So, hey, football is here. Now if we can just get a little football weather to go along with it, we might survive.
You know what? I remember when the season practice didn't even start till almost mid-September. And now it's a year-round deal. So, anyway, how do they download the app very quickly?
Hey, go to BetSaracen.com on the web or from the App Store. Just type in BetSaracen, hit that registration button. Everybody, make sure you check out our promotions tab each and every day. Got Parlay Boost, and check out the new Pick'em contest that we're running each week. It's free to enter. All you got to do is just pick the winner in baseball games, and you can win some free play, and you can put your selections in a parlay and win even more. Good luck, everybody, and we'll talk to you next week.
All right. Have a nice week, Neil.
And we're back with Ray Tucker's Arkansas Outdoors. We're visiting with George Dunklin, owner of the Five Oaks Duck Lodge, former Arkansas Game and Fish Commissioner, Ducks Unlimited president, and chairman of the board. And we're talking duck habitat. We're talking the breeding grounds, and everything that matters is going on up there right now, and it's kind of in peril. If you want to kind of review what we've been talking about,
this is time to nip it in the bud.
Yeah.
As Barney would say, nip it in the bud. Well, we're talking about these easements that the U.S. Fish and Wildlife has asked for a request for information over the last 14. The request closed this past Friday night at midnight, and there's over 200,000 comments and petitions and signatures that were signed by duck hunters and industry. Politicians that got involved, all in favor of not rescinding the rule. It's also interesting, is this driven from landowners or farmers? We do know there's almost 1,000 landowners in North Dakota that is aligned to sell their easement under the present rule. They're not asking for a rule change, under the present rule to protect the wetlands on their operation. So it makes it interesting. Where is this coming from? I don't know. Don't really know. Maybe nowhere. Maybe it's just simply they wanted to find out what people thought.
Well, you mentioned earlier the things that duck hunters love to argue about during the season, the hot cropping and the this and that and the other, but none of that matters if you don't have what we're talking about.
That's right. When you go at 30 days versus 60, 3 versus 6, hot croppings you talked about. If this rule is changed, my prediction is it won't be an overnight disaster, but the next time we won't ever get that big bump, that big jump of birds again. And so it'll be just kind of a slow spiral downward, much compared to quail. Ray, when I grew up in Pine Bluff, quail hunting all over southeast Arkansas.
Same in Helena.
Same as Helena, yeah. And that quail disappeared off the landscape, not because we shot them out, because the habitat changed faster than the quail could adapt. If you go back and put the habitat in and it's big enough, guess what magically returns? Quail.
You know, one of the things you do down at Five Oaks that you talked about is, conservation of bottomland hardwood forest. Mm-hmm. And what we know now and what the Game and Fish has acted on now is just a light years ahead of what we thought we knew, I guess, in 2005. I guess Mickey Heitmeyer, with that report that he did at Biomeda, kind of got us on the road to that, and you were a big part of that. But people took a long, long time to accept that.
And still challenging. I really commend the commission. Fort Overton actually took my place, and Bobby Martin, many others. They really did a good job of just staying on that. Taking Mickey's report, which is right, came out in 2004, because it wasn't accepted when I was there. But now you do see a change. We do need to harvest those trees. We need to get sunlight to the forest floor. We need not to hold the water. We need to let the water roll through, a flood go through those habitat, those important bottomland hardwoods. Part of our research that we're doing at Five Oaks is how do we adapt to what's all these changes that have happened the last 99 years since the 1927 flood, and the levees came in, the drainage, all this whole hydraulic has changed. The Arkansas River in 71 being dammed off Lock and Dam so we can have navigation. All these in the name of progress, and I'm not going to argue that progress is made, but at what price?
Right.
And so now we're not going to go back and take all the levees and all that away. So we got to figure out, how do we manage what little that we have left to make them productive and make them natural regeneration. And we're working that at Ducks Unlimited. We're raising money to redo the engineering there. It's something that we got to get these public lands healthy again. And not going to happen overnight. We need to look 50 to 100 years down the road.
And this is kind of a microcosm of what we've been talking about there, is that people want a place to hunt. They want water to hunt in, but they can't seem, a lot of them, to make the connection of the way that is accomplished is going to cost you your hunting habitat.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I wish we could find a way that we could, especially in these low prices that we have now, maybe we could buy some from a willing seller, increase our public property, our public lands. That's really what we need to. We need to find some land where we can get 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 acres together and start. Because without the public support, without 200,000 people coming to information to respond to this issue, we don't. That's the critical thing. Is the public support we got to keep having.
And that sounds like a lot of people, 200,000. But when you think about the duck hunting population, the duck hunting community that relies on along the Mississippi Flyway, you would think that number would have been 5 times that.
Well,
you didn't have much warning.
Yeah, 14 days.
Right.
And it was a confusing topic.
Right.
People, what's a drain tile? What's a setback? What does that mean? And there's already natural distrust in our government and with all kind of things that's going on. So I think all of us in the conservation world was really surprised we got this kind of response this quickly.
Yeah, it was all hands on deck very quickly. Like the article I wrote, I think I heard about it 2 days before that, and thank goodness for the DU people helping me out, getting a lot of information to me very quickly, to be able to put something together on. But even that, my article came out the last day of the public comment period.
Yeah, Mike Brazier and Scott Stevens did a wonderful job. I don't know how many podcasts they were on, but they were on a ton of them, trying to educate people, answer questions. But it's the first time, certainly in my 43-year career at DU, maybe even in the 89-year history of Ducks Unlimited, that we've gone this level of getting people out. It was following the sword, all hands on deck.
Well, that's one of the great things about electronic communication, social media, and all that, is you can activate people a lot quicker than you could have. No
question about it.
Yeah, when you were on the commission,
there's some negative things as we read mistruths, but this was the positive for sure.
Yeah, looking in the crystal ball, what do you see?
Well, I'm an eternal optimist. I always think the glass is half full. I think our Razorbacks will come back and have a good season someday.
Your wife's shaking her head over there.
I'm just thinking about all the NIL money I could have made fumbling the ball at the last part of the game.
Yeah, I think we will find a way to keep this incredible legacy of waterfowl going. We're going to figure it out. We're going to do what we have to do. I don't know we'll ever get back to wherever the heyday was in somebody's mind.
Right.
But I don't want it. One of the things that we teach our kids when they come through, especially these fourth graders that are from Stuttgart and the Beaverhead area, how special those bee migrations flying over your head are.
Yep.
Those are really special. We don't ever take them for granted.
All right, we'll take a pause here on Ray Tucker's Arkansas Outdoors. Back with more after this timeout.
The Saracen Casino Hotel is now open and accepting reservations. Saracen's new 14-story hotel features 318 modern guest rooms and suites, offering luxe accommodations paired with the elevated amenities and the southern hospitality customers have come to expect from Saracen Casino Resort. And while you're at it, don't skip dinner at Red Oak, recognized as Arkansas's best restaurant for 5 years running. Book your stay with Saracen by visiting SaracenResort.com or calling Saracen today.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-MY-RESET.
This is the Pigskin Preacher bringing you the word. You are listening right now to the best radio station in Arkansas. 103.7 The Buzz was named the top station heard over the airwaves by the Arkansas Times and their readers. Vox Populi, my brothers. Congrats to Morning Mayhem, The Zone, Out of Bounds, Drive Time Radio, and all the folks who make these things possible. Double B's is a proud sponsor of The Buzz. If you have a business you're trying to grow, start advertising on 103.7. It works, my friends. Double B's has tons of stuff you need, but you already knew that because you are a loyal listener of the #1 radio station in Arkansas. Stop by so that we can greet you like family and take care of you like kinfolk. Doublebees. It's where you gas it, grab it, and go. That's Doublebees.
My son has been practicing every day to learn to ride his bike. But when I see drivers speeding through our neighborhood or distracted on their phones, it makes me so nervous. Will you help me keep him safe?
Crashes that injure or kill bicyclists and pedestrians are on the rise. When you're driving, do your part to protect vulnerable road users. Drive aware, save lives. A message from the Arkansas State Police Highway Safety Office.
Attention! If you suffer from consistent pain in your joints caused by arthritis, overuse, or injury, you may be a candidate for a revolutionary therapy that could revitalize damaged tissue. This approach can provide long-lasting relief from pain in your knees, shoulders, hips, and other joints with no surgery, no drugs, and no downtime. To find out if you're a viable candidate, you may request a free consultation from QC Kinetics by calling 501-600-2763. Instead of masking the symptoms, it goes to the root of the problem to resolve it at its source. Already used by thousands of satisfied patients nationwide, this joint pain therapy is available right now to the public, but only for qualified candidates. Again, to find out if you're a viable candidate for this therapy, you may request a free consultation by calling QC Kinetics at 501-600-2763. That's 501-600-2763.
This is Trey Johnson with HJ Trailer Sales. Spring is here, and y'all have made us the #1 truck bed dealer in the state. We want to thank you for your support and business. If you're looking for the best customer service from folks that can handle any type of trailer and take care of you after the sale, with hometown service, it's HJ Trailer Sales. Our team will handle all your service and warranty needs. See what great customer service looks like at HJ Trailer Sales on Albert Pike in Hot Springs, or check us out on Facebook.
Looking for something unique to do in Little Rock? Head to the Museum of Discovery. Explore hands-on exhibits, try real science experiments, and meet live animals up close. Little ones will love the Small Fry Fish Camp Gallery, designed just for early learners. Catch an electrifying bipolar musical Tesla coil show or live science demonstration during your visit. And with special events happening all the time, there's always something new to experience for all ages. So plan your visit and check out upcoming events at museumofdiscovery.org.
All right, we're going to switch things up a little bit here. I've been talking about issues as far as duck hunting across the United States and conservation. We're going to talk about catching big bass on Table Rock Lake.
We're going up to Kimberling City to our old friend Mike Boyles, who spent the winter down in Florida fishing the phosphate pits. Yeah, watch out. And now he's back up at Table Rock Lake. And Mike, we're going to talk about bass fishing in Hell's Kitchen. How do you do it?
Early and late, guys.
I tell you, you and I fished up there one time, kind of like this, and I remember going out, and we did okay. You know, it was a late evening thing, but we had those biting flies all over us, so it was hard to cast. You know, in between swatting these black flies.
Man, so I found a couple years ago, there's a brand of insect repellent that is lemongrass eucalyptus. So it smells good, and you can buy it at the big box stores. But anyway, that takes care of biting flies. And I can't say the horse flies as much because I don't know. I don't know why somebody invented horse flies. That's incredible. But I do early trips, and then I do evening trips right now. And Table Rock Lake, you know, being right here by Branson, Missouri, with the energy demand, in the evenings, they generate hydroelectric power at the dam. Under full operation, they can supply up to 34,000 households with power, with electricity. So in the evenings, when people come home, get off work, come off the lake, kick up the air conditioners, they have current in the lake as a result of generating power. So the morning trip can be good because it's cooler, the fish are out roaming, you've got low light conditions. So I've been doing on my double trips, I do a morning trip and then I do an evening trip. And some evenings, you can get on these spots where this current's coming across that point and catch the heck out of Kentucky bass, sometimes smallmouth, walleye, catfish, and bluegill.
All right, let's do this very quickly. Since you're a guide and you do this professionally, how do people get in touch with you? And we'll do this a couple of times so we can get you some business here. Not that you need any.
You know, it's all, you never know. You never know when somebody's coming up to Branson. But just MikeBoylesFishing.com or just TableRockLakeFishing.com. It comes up with me. So, yeah, I've been pretty blessed. I get to guide here in Missouri when it's warm. And when it's cold, I tow the boat all the way to sunny Florida most of the time and guide for big bass down there. So it's been pretty good. I have to use different tackle and techniques, but right now to beat the heat, early and late. The middle of the day is for either swimming or taking naps.
So when you're out, I know pretty much the area you like to fish, and it's a very productive spot there, and you do have a lot of current breaks and some islands and things like that, but how do you go about looking for the type of structure that you think bass are going to set up on with current running through there?
The biggest thing that I key on, and most of us do this time of year, are flat pea gravel points that have a sharper drop on one side of the point or the other. They usually have man-made brush piles on them. This past winter was so mild. I mean, we had, 70s and even 80s in March here. Like, by the time I got back from Florida, the bass had already spawned, and that's never happened before. But as a result of it being warmer, guys were out longer, and they were planting more brush piles. So there's literally a plethora of new brush piles on just about any given point on Table Rock Lake.
When you talk about Table Rock, you know, in its earlier days, it was a very famous largemouth fishery. Then smallmouth bass became more prominent there. Then you had the hybrids, the mean mouth is what they call them. What's the big bite now?
Right now, predominantly, what I do is a fishing guide because I'm not sure what experience level I'm going to have with people. You get all kinds. You get guys that are free fishing, for tournaments coming up 6 months down the road, to just families that go. I always ask everybody, one or, how many times do you fish a year? And if they say, this is it, I immediately go to the easy button, and that is just drop shotting half of a live night crawler. But if I have people that are experienced, we'll cast tubes, small swim baits, grubs, Ned rigs. The Ned rig, though, loses some of its finesse because you have to use a heavier jig head because people can't cast that far. But anyway, I always say, go ahead.
Is it difficult to keep up with all the technology now? It's changing so rapidly.
You know, it is, but with social media, you literally can learn just a little bit ago, I was watching a post about it was some stuff coming up on some of the changing tournament circuits next year. But with social media and just a bunch of friends, I have a bunch of friends from all over the country. I mean, just one phone call, and I can dial a friend and have an expert opinion on just about any technology that I don't already know about. But I do use technology on my boat. I do use LiveScope. But I do get people in the boat that don't want to use it, and I'm happy with that. And when people are inexperienced, I always ask them how many days a year they fish, and I can kind of pivot some days. I mean, if the fish are biting good on artificial, why go out and, drown a night crawler if you don't have to? So if I can teach somebody something, they can leave my trip going back to their state of, wherever, Iowa, Kentucky, Alabama, and using a technique that they've never used before. I feel like I'm winning on that. I'm not just a guide making an income. I'm training or teaching somebody, hopefully, a life lesson.
What is it? What's the impression you get from people that come from not bass country, say, Northeast, and they come down here and they get immersed in that culture? Because if they're in the boat with you, they're going to get all of that. What's that like?
They cannot believe just the enormity of the lake, and the biggest thing is where to start. That's always the thing. And so if you've never been to the lake before and you're fishing on your own, just go with what you relate to. Did you catch fish on rocky bluffs on your lake? Did you catch them on flat points? Did you catch them around laydowns or boat docks? And that's kind of a starting point for you to branch off on. If you go out and fish the deep game and you're not used to it, you're not going to catch fish, you're going to be unsuccessful, and then you're not going to have a quality experience. But if you just kind of stick to your guns, Table Rock Lake, you can fish literally anything from a drop shot worm or a Ned rig to maybe a square bill crankbait if you run up one of the river arms, and you can do that this time of year. Again, there's some current and there's some lingering current there first thing in the morning up those river arms, but then it does get pretty stagnant throughout the day.
Is there anything left to be learned from following the tournament circuits anymore, or is that really the breeding ground for all the knowledge anymore?
I'm going to tell you this year, Brian, I have been absolutely astonished at how some of these tournaments have been won. Sam Rayburn, for example, that Take South, that young angler using LiveScope, he was fishing out in the middle of those creeks on Sam Rayburn for suspended fish in standing timber. He weighed in like a 10 and an 11 pounder. And I think that was in the same day. That was maybe on day 3. Don't quote me on that one, but incredible, just incredible.
All right, we've been talking with Mike Boyles of Branson, Missouri. Thanks for joining us, Mike, and hope to hear from you again soon. And
thanks for having me on, guys, and have a great summer.
All right, you too. We'll be right back with Ray Tucker's Arkansas Outdoors and George Dunklin.
Hi, this is Joe Klein, former Razorback and owner of Corky's Ribs and Barbecue.
And I'm Anthony Lucas, also a proud former Razorback and Corky's Barbecue regular customer.
We may represent different sports in different decades, but all generations of hogs agree.
Corky's is the only place to get the most delicious ribs and barbecue at a winning price.
So stop into Corky's now and every day for never-ending specials.
Corky's,
where the hogs come home, baby.
Corky's Ribs and Barbecue.
Everybody knows the Brad Hendricks Law Firm is famous for car wrecks, big truck crashes, and medical negligence cases. But they do a lot more than that. They help good people who can benefit from bankruptcy. And they also help older folks who had their Social Security claims denied. When you need a lawyer, call the firm that is pure Arkansas, where you won't ever be just a number. The Brad Hendricks Law Firm. Tradition, reputation, results.
just when you thought it was safe to go back in the water. It's Shark Month 2 at Gwatney Buick GMC. Shark Month promises the biggest deals of the year and ready to take a bite out of your payment. New Invistas starting at under $24,000. Sink your teeth into Sierra 1500s, up to $15,000 off MSRP. Sharks can smell a deal for miles around, like all new Buicks on the lot at 0.9. Are you underwater? Let's trade. Canyons at just $249 per month and Sierras at 0%. It's Shark Month 2. And you're going to need a bigger truck. Call Gwatney Buick GMC at 501-945-4444. Gwatney Buick GMC, 5700 Landers Road in North Little Rock. GwatneyBuickGMC.com. GMC, we are professional grade. Stock numbers 32616, 32661. Some offers require qualifying trade-in. Canyon is a low mileage lease. All offers with approved credit.
Shipments of spring and summer fashions are arriving at Bell & Sword. That means swimwear from Saks, Peter Millar golf wear and shirts, Johnny O's store within a store. Be sure to check out the Faraday line and Martin Dingman shoes and leather goods. So hurry in for a great value on quality men's clothing at Bell & Sword for your spring and summer items, and you'll look fantastic. Bell & Sword, 1011 Oak Street in downtown Conway on Facebook and Instagram.
Hello, this is Justin Acree. When joint pain or an injury slows you down, turn to UAMS Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. Arkansas's largest orthopedic team and the state's most fellowship-trained surgeons offer expert care for sports injuries and problems affecting the hip, knee, shoulder, spine, hand, foot, ankle, and more. Care is easy to access at the Orthopedic and Spine Hospital and a new location on Rodney Parham in Little Rock, next to UAMS Health Urology Center. For walk-in care, choose UAMS Ortho now. Call 501-686-TOSH. When you think ortho, think UAMS. Around here, reputation matters. That's why homeowners and business owners turn to the professionals at CertaPro Painters for their painting projects. From detailed residential painting to professionally managed commercial projects, our crews deliver craftsmanship that protects your investment and enhances curb appeal. If painting's on your list this year, now's the time. Spots are filling up fast. Call CertaPro Painters or visit CertaPro.com and reserve your project today. That's Certa with a C. CertaPro Painters, that's painting happy.
Fraud is on the rise, and scammers are getting more convincing every day. But remember this, your bank will never call you asking for your debit card number, expiration date, PIN, security code, or online banking login information. If you receive a message or call that feels off, trust your instincts. Hang up. Don't click. Don't respond. Instead, contact your bank directly using a number you know and trust. Protect your information. Protect your money. When in doubt, call your bank.
And we're back with Ray Tucker's Arkansas Outdoors. We're visiting with George Dunklin, and we need to acknowledge also in the background our fact checker, Olivia Dunklin, and we've all known each other a long time. It's been a real fabulous relationship. You know, when you were on the commission and I was pretty new in my job, and we saw and did a lot together in those days. And, you know, you're still at it, you know, doing what you do.
And you are too.
You're still hanging in there. And, you know, the conservation education that you're doing. Do you want to talk about the Green Wings program as well?
We've been doing started back in 1991. We started a Green Wing program, a camp with Ducks Unlimited, Game and Fish. Dr. Scott Yake actually was a deputy director of Game and Fish back then, and it just was a great. Steve Frick, an old regional director of Ducks Unlimited, who was just a wonderful guy, and they had the idea, and we had the lodge and the land, and I think our first camp was the winter of 91 or 92, and we've been doing it ever since. And now we've really brought the science part into it with our staff that we have now. Dr. Ryan Askren is the director of our research center, and Brandon Bennett is a certified wildlife biologist and registered forester that's with us. So along with my son-in-law and my daughter Hillary, who's our educator, my son-in-law Stuart Horner from Helena, Ray, his family's from Helena. We really have a pretty, and it's free. It's free. You know, it's a free camp for anybody. And they all become legacy sponsors of Ducks Unlimited, which is $250 sponsor. And
so when is the camp?
It's in February after duck season.
Okay.
And it's a Thursday night till Sunday at noon.
And so don't wait till the last minute to sign up for it, right?
Well, we go through Ducks Unlimited. Our Ducks Unlimited does that. Our youth coordinator here in the state does that. Our state chairman oversees all that. And so I don't pick any of the kids. They pick them. We host them and take care of them while they're there.
How wonderful.
8 guys and 6 girls. And Jerry Jones, his lodge is right across the street from us, graciously donates his lodge. So we put the guys stayed over there last year and the girls stay with us or vice versa. But we couldn't do it without Mr. Jones and the Red Hill Club.
What, the image and the culture of duck hunting has changed so much since the 60s, 70s versus now. What is, what's your perception of the change in the way of duck hunting is presented to the public now?
Well, obviously technology has changed it. GPS. Right. I mean, I grew up, Brian, I graduated high school in 1975. We didn't have ATVs.
Right.
We walked.
You're just a baby if you got graduated in 75.
Well, my first cousin Bill Dunklin and I, my dad would take us, and we walked everywhere. We carried our decoys, and that was just part of now ATVs and now GPS. But of course, probably the biggest change is social media. It's a little disheartening when you see people brag about what nobody puts on there when they have a bad hunt.
Right.
And I can promise you, all of us, Five Oaks included, have days that are just Mother Nature's in control of the sport. And no matter how hard we work, we're going to have a bad hunt. We talk about wanting a good experience. But I think that representation can present this false image, and people get disappointed if they didn't have a great hunt. And it shouldn't be about that at all. It's just about being out in God's glorious nature and enjoy the incredible resources that we have. And some days it works, some days it doesn't kill a duck, but that doesn't mean it wasn't a great experience. That's probably, to me, been the biggest change, the perception.
You think about those mornings, when the sun comes up and you can hear them first and call them in, and then that swirl and the scout ducks come down, and then they flare up and don't shoot. And you got all that, and everybody limits out, and when they do, and then the next day it's like there's not a duck in the county.
Where did they go?
Where did they go? Well, one thing our GPS work under Dr. Askren and Dr. Osborne have shown, disturbance might be almost as big a factor as poor habitat or too much disturbance, lack of.
Right.
And they don't like to be shot at. Now, there's no question about that. And so we really have to monitor and manage that disturbance factor as well.
And it's not just the shooting; it's the entire disturbance experience. The getting in and rousting them up when they're trying to loaf in the daylight and
absolutely
all that.
Well, we start shooting them in September 1st, and we quit January 31st, and that's a lot of pressure on a few birds.
Running out of time here, but one more question. Is that duck hunting up north is a much bigger thing now, and I've been saying this for a while, that the cumulative number of birds taken before they ever get here is reaching a number where it starts to matter. How much has that affected duck behavior?
Well, I think the behavior, the pressure that's on them. They're smart. I mean, the dumb ones are in the freezer. They don't make it very long.
Right.
And so these birds adapt. That's why they're still here. I mean, go back to 1999 and 2000 with the RoboDuck, how instantly they just came right to it. Now, I mean, 2 or 3, 4 years after that, it's like they went to school and said, stay away from those things. You'll get killed.
All right.
Stay away from the dummies.
Stay away from the dummies. And another week has passed at Ray Tucker's Arkansas Outdoors. We have been very, very honored to have George Dunklin with us to talk about the thing that we all love, duck hunting. Thank you for Mike Boyles for calling up and telling us how to catch some bass when it gets really hot, because I don't do it when it's this hot.
George Dunklin, you're an amazing man. Thank you. Thanks for all you
guys do.
Thanks for all you do. You folks have a great week. And I wouldn't tell you to get out early morning and late afternoons, like Mike Bowles said. Try it.